Reads. I'm Courtney, and today you're joining me for another weekly wrap-up. I wasn't going to do this video, but I figured I should share what I've been reading for this past week. I've had a lot of engagement with my Kindle videos and have been loving that and kind of feeling pressure to stay on that track because a lot of people found me that way. But hopeful that people understand that I do Kindle videos, weekly wrap-ups, weekly reading vlogs, TBRs, book hauls, the whole gamut of a bookish channel. So I am sitting down to tell you what I have read. So this week I was not planning to read that much actually, and mostly because of the main book I read this week took up a lot of time, but it was a really enjoyable read, so I appreciate that, but I didn't think I'd get through that many books. However, this weekend I was able to knock out quite a few books, and that really helped me along. So let's start off with what I read this week. So the first book I read was The Good Part by Sophie Cousins. Guys, I did not love this one. I ended up giving this a 2-star. I picked this up on Kindle. It's her most recent, oh no, it came out last year, 2023. Her most recent book I just picked up from Book of the Month Club, which is She Really Going Out With Him? And I really am not interested in reading it, unfortunately. This book follows Lucy. Lucy is an already overworked 20-something. She's like a assistant. It's like a runner in a TV production sort of company. She wants to be a producer. She's actually been promoted, but her boss is still having her to do runner things. Her life's just not where she wants it to go. She's got a crappy apartment. Her friends seem to be moving on and she's doing nothing. And so she's feeling a lot of pressure. And so one night that's particularly bad, she goes into a shop that has like a wishing machine and makes a wish to get to the good part of her life. Very much like the movie Big, if you've seen that, with Tom Hanks. So she makes a wish, she wakes up, it's a few years later, and she is in a house with a husband who's amazing-ish, and 2 kids, and she's trying to navigate, how did she get here? And so throughout the book, she has to decide, is she staying here in the good part, or does she need to continue on with her life the way it was to see if there's anything she could change or how she got here? So I ended up giving it 2 stars because I feel like it could have gone a lot better. A huge chunk of the book was spent with her trying to figure out where she was, what was going on, and a lot of time in the disbelief side, which we get it. You wake up, it's 16 years later or whatever, you're going to be a little thrown off and confused. But for the majority of the book to be, every day she's like, I don't know about my husband. Who is he? Do I know this about him? Let me go do this. She spent a lot of time going to her old job and to her old friends, just too much of that versus being hey, I'm going to live this life and kind of see what it's about. And so maybe that wasn't necessarily the direction, but that's kind of what I was looking for as I read it. So I gave it 2 stars because it did not hit for me. And like I said, it makes me leery about reading what is it? Is She Really Going Out With Him? So as I was reading that in the background, the thing that took up most of my week this week was the book, The Most Fun We Ever Had by Claire Lombardo. This is a 600+ page book, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. And this book I picked up, I want to say in the summer. I'd heard about it on Gabby Reed's channel, and I just thought I would pick it up and see what it was about. And I tried reading it when I got it, and it didn't catch me. And then this week again, I had time to commute, and so I said I'd pop this on Spotify, which, I've talked about this before. Spotify has the ability to listen to audiobooks. If you're a premium member, you get 15 hours of audio, and then your audio stops. And so that happened to me because this is a very long book. This is even at 2 times speed. I ran out of listening time. And so now I'm thinking about just going back to Audible and maybe canceling Book of the Month Club for a moment because I'm trying not to have physical books so much as the digital books. And so it would make sense to do Audible versus Book of the Month Club. I think if there are Book of the Month Club books that I want to read, I could just see what the list is and pick from there. But they're really just curating the books that I already would have read anyway. So I'm on the contemplation of that. So comment down below if you do Audible or Spotify. Do you think I should do one or the other? Stick with Spotify, go back to Audible. I was an Audible member from like 2020 to 2024. I cut it earlier this year, so I don't know. Anyway, I digress. This is the book, The Most Fun We Ever Had. This book I gave 4 stars. It was really good, but it was just too long, and it did not need to be this long to get the point across. But basically, we are following the Sorensen family. Marilyn and David are the parents, and we start in the 70s when, well, we start in prison time, but throughout the book, we go through everybody's journey up until the present time. And so we find out how Marilyn and David met. We find out the ups and downs of the relationships, having kids. There's 4 daughters in the family, and so each daughter kind of fits a mold. We've got, let's see, okay, we have Grace. She's the youngest, and she's kind of just dawdling around, as it lists on the back. She's not really doing much with her life. We have Liza, who is newly tenured professor. She gets pregnant. The baby dad is horrible. All this is on the back, so I'm not ruining anything. And then we also have Wendy. She is a widow. However, she is literally an alcoholic and the worst older sister ever. She's the oldest of all the girls, and she's just plain mean, and nobody can like get her to be nice and normal. And then there's Violet, who used to be a lawyer, but now she's a stay-at-home mom. She's living like the perfect life until Wendy finds Jonah, who is the child that Violet placed up for adoption 15 years ago. And as Jonah enters their life, the Sorensen's life and their bubble, we start uncovering lots of different things. He starts off staying with Wendy. Something happens there. Violet is like, I don't know about her. She's just like on a different planet with how to engage and like how to live a authentic life. She's so caught into these specific roles that she's going to have and what other people will think of her. But as we go throughout time, we also are able to see how Marilyn and David's marriage has lasted so long. It's 2016 in this book, and so they've been married for numerous years, and they seem like the picture perfect couple, to the point where the daughters at the end sort of start feeling like they can't live up to this standard that their parents have set for them. However, as we unpack their marriage, it's just like any other marriage. So I thought this was really good. And if you followed my channel this year, you'll see I've really leaned into literary fiction books, specifically family-based books, right? Where we're seeing a myriad of different characters from the family and their journey through life and how they interact with each other. I really, really, really enjoy those books. So if you have any recs for those, please list them down below. But yeah, this was a 4-star for me, but it did take the majority of the week. I'm not mad about it. I don't think I finished it until Friday. I think I finished it Friday and I started it on Tuesday. So it took quite a bit to get through this, but then I hopped into the weekend and I was ready for something nice and light. And so I picked up Babysitters Club 53, Christy for President. This was the next book in the line. If you're new here, I am rereading the Babysitters Club book from the beginning. One of my favorite series as a kid, and I continue to love the stories. I have reread them, but kind of cherry-picked the books that I wanted to read, and now I'm going from the beginning to the end. I started last June, and I'm on 53 now. I've taken some breaks. I just popped them in when I need a palate cleanser. I don't really have any rules as it I don't really have any rules as it pertains to how I read them or how often. I just interject them when I want to. Sometimes I'll read 1 per month, sometimes 3 in a month, sometimes none, so you never know. So Christy for President, I gave 3 stars. I'm not a huge Christy fan, although reading the books from the beginning, I understand Christy a bit more and I appreciate who she is as a character. But this book just basically followed her trying to run for 8th grade class president. And then we had the B plot of Jamie Newton trying to learn how to ride a bike, which was weird that the babysitters were teaching him. Like, where are your parents? Your parents should be teaching you how to ride your bike. So that was that one really quick. And then the last book that I read was a find on Kindle Unlimited by Morgan Elizabeth. It's If This Was a Movie. I've read some of her books before. They're really good. And so I really like her writing. This is a quick 242-page Christmas romance book. It is 4 stars for me, almost 3.5. So this book follows Jules, Nate, and Sophie. Jules and Nate meet at a bar, have a 2-night stand, and then go their separate ways. A year or so later, Jules' house, I think like a fire happened or something happened to her house where she has to leave for a little bit, and her friend Claire offers up her brother's sort of in-law suite or like extra house on his land for her to stay in until her place gets fixed up. And come to find out, Claire's brother is Nate. So she does go there, she stays, it's awkward at first, and Claire used to live at this property with her brother and would help babysit his daughter, Sophie. And so part of the way that Jules can repay him is by now being that sort of caretaker, like helping her get off the bus, whatever, she's 6. So they run into each other unknowingly. So all this is happening in the background. And then Nate and Jules run into each other at the mall after Sophie sees Santa and asks for basically her dad to find a wife. And she has a doll, it's like a ballerina doll, and Jules is a ballerina teacher. She's a ballerina and she's a dance teacher. And when Sophie meets Jules or runs into her at the mall, she looks just like her doll. And so she's like, this is the one. And she immediately latches onto Jules, not knowing her, not caring about stranger danger, just immediately hugs this lady, and we just roll with it. Now, obviously, Nate and Jules know each other, and so it's all fine. But the reason why this book is 3.5 stars, 4 stars, is because Sophie is so annoying. Now, I am a mom. I don't mind kids in books, but this chick was annoying. She was in everything. She was tantruming. She was just whining about everything. And she also was like insistent on her dad and Jules falling in love and kept saying it like, you have to go Christmas tree shopping with us because you have to fall in love with my dad. It was just like over the top. And yeah, there was like a scene where there's like mistletoe and, you know, she wants them to kiss on mistletoe. It's tradition. And a little bit is Nate trying to like get them back together because they've decided with this arrangement they'll be platonic. And then they decide, well, maybe they'll just try to fake it a little bit so that his daughter feels like there's a Christmas miracle. But she just really, like, I really wanted to skip all her parts, no lie. She was not a great character and not a great kid in the book. And we could have had this whole story without the kid in the book. Like, what if he had a dog and she had a dog sit or something? Like, that would have been great. So 3.5 to 4 stars for this one. Right now I have it at 4 stars on Goodreads and on Bookly, but who knows, I might switch it up. But a nice, cute, fast read. So I love that. So those are the books that I've read this week. I think it was a pretty productive week. Like I said, I had some traveling this week, or some commuting. So it was a busier week, which means I was tired, but we got some stuff done and it was all good. So let's talk about what I want to read this upcoming week. Okay, this week I'm feeling very ambitious to only have 3 books because the books that I'm picking are longer and more intense. So I decided that I was ready to go ahead and read Fly Away by Kristen Hanna. This is the sequel to, what's the other one? You guys know what I'm talking about that I read already? The Nightingale. And so I decided I wanted to read this one. I picked it up a while ago. I think I picked it up on my birthday haul, but just haven't read it yet. This one's not too long. What is that? About 400 pages. So I really want to read this. Then you're going to think I'm crazy because if you were with me during my Throne of Glass and ACOTAR era, like, you know maybe how I feel about this book, but I had an idea that I would reread A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas because I love the ACOTAR series. I thought each book was so good except this one because this book has nothing to do with the plot of the story in the original storyline. So I did not enjoy it. This book really follows Nesta and Cassian. And so I was like, why are we here? Like, this has nothing to do with what we read. But I figured enough time has passed because I think I read this at the beginning of, no, that was Throne of Glass. maybe 2022 I read the ACOTAR series, but I feel like enough time has passed that I can read this as a standalone, as I feel like it's most intended, and still get some enjoyment out of it. So I would love to read this week. Now this book is a chunker, comes in at 700 plus pages, and so I want to be realistic with myself that it might not be finished by the end of the week, but I'm going to try. I've read 1,200 pages in a week before. It can happen. So I want to focus on this. I need a copy on my Kindle though. That would really help me speed along. So I need to see if I can find one for free. And then because I'm reading 2 longer, heavy books, I decided to pull out my next book for Babysitters Club, which is Super Special number 6, We Love New York. I am trying to read these in publication order. However, I keep getting mixed up or missing the super specials. And so I know that I've read past the super special already, but I need to squeeze it in. So I'm going to read the super special. This is another one of my favorite super specials that I had as a kid, as well as the theater one. I can't wait for that one to come up. So those are the 3 books that I want to read this week. Again, they're longer books. They are a little bit more intense, so I'm just gonna take it slow. And that's my intention for this week. I cannot believe it's almost the end of November, which is crazy. And next week of Thanksgiving, I do celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so I definitely will be wrapping up the month with some other books. I'm excited about that as well. And just looking forward to heading into this holiday season. I do have some video ideas planned. I want to show you guys some amazing holiday books to read as we get into December. I have a Paperwhite update that I need to share with you guys, and it ain't good. So I want to talk to you guys about that. So just be on the lookout. I generally post, because I have new subscribers, I generally post Thursdays and Sundays. However, I am posting as often as I can at this point. So I just want to get content out for you guys and have a burst of inspiration. And so when I have time, I want to film, get them out for you. So just keep checking back, turn on your post notifications so you know when I'm posting a new video. Anyways, that's everything I have for today. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.